Imagine being forced to write a polite, professional letter to someone you absolutely despise. You can't openly insult them, or you'll lose your job. So, you write a perfectly polite letter, but you engineer it so that the first letter of every sentence, when read from top to bottom, spells out a secret message telling them exactly how you really feel. This isn't a modern internet prank. This is one of the oldest, most clever literary tricks in human history. It is a way to hide a secret code directly in plain sight, and it has been used by ancient rebels, famous authors, and modern politicians. Today, we are breaking down the mechanics, the history, and the brilliant passive aggression of the acrostic. To understand how an acrostic works, we can use a very simple analogy. Imagine reading a book. Normally, you read the words horizontally, from left to right, line by line. An acrostic forces you to change your perspective. Instead of reading left to right, you look only at the absolute edge of the text, usually the very first letter of every line, and you read vertically from top to bottom. It's like ignoring the titles of a stack of books and only looking at the letters printed on their spines. It is a dual-layered piece of information. The horizontal sentences give you the public, normal story, while the vertical edge gives you the hidden, private message. This structural trick was highly valued in the ancient worlds, especially when people needed to hide their identities. During the early days of the Roman Empire, being a Christian was illegal and highly dangerous. They needed a secret handshake, a way to communicate without the Roman guards knowing. They turned to an acrostic. They took the Greek phrase for Jesus Christ, Son of God, Savior. When you take the first letter of each of those Greek words and stack them together, it spells the word ichthys. In ancient Greek, ichthys simply translates to the word fish. So, early Christians began drawing simple fish symbols on doors and in the dirt. To the Romans, it was just a drawing of a fish. To the insiders, it was a perfectly constructed acronym hiding a massive religious declaration. As history progressed, acrostics became a way to embed a permanent signature into a piece of art. The most incredible example of this is actually the national anthem of the Netherlands, known as the Wilhelmus. Written in the 16th century during the Dutch revolt against Spain, the song has 15 separate stanzas. If you take the very first letter of each of those 15 verses, it spells out Willem van Nassau, William of Nassau, the leader of the Dutch rebellion. Every time the national anthem is sung, the entire country is unknowingly reciting a 400-year-old hidden code honoring their founding father. It is a political message literally baked into the architecture of the music. But acrostics aren't just for ancient Christians and European kings. They are a fantastic tool for modern professional rebellion. In 2009, the governor of California, Arnold Schwarzenegger, was in a bitter political dispute with the state legislature. The legislature sent him a bill, and he sent back a formal, highly professional veto letter explaining why he was rejecting it. However, journalists quickly noticed something strange. If you looked at the first letter of each line in the main body of his formal letter, it blatantly spelled out a massive two-word profanity starting with F and ending with U. When questioned, his office claimed it was just a weird coincidence. But anyone who understands the complex math of an acrostic knows that you don't accidentally spell out an insult in a state document. Here is a quick fact to wrap up the topic. The famous author Lewis Carroll, who wrote Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, loved hiding codes. At the very end of his sequel book, Through the Looking Glass, he included a beautiful, nostalgic 21-line poem. For over a century, readers enjoyed it just as a poem. But if you read the first letter of each line, it spells out the full real name of the actual little girl who inspired the entire series, Alice Pleasance Liddell. He permanently locked her name into the edge of his masterpiece. Thank you for watching. We will see you in the next video.